What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Halftime with K Bizzy. Today, boy oh boy, do we have an awesome episode today. We had STYKO join us. STYKO is obviously a professional player, and he has been on several big teams that many people know. We're talking Godsend, we're talking Hellraisers, we're talking Cloud9, Apeks. I mean, the list goes on. This guy's been around for a minute, and he's done a lot of hard work. I noticed as I was recording this that my lazy eye was getting a little lazier, so I don't know what's up with that. I hope I'm not getting a stroke. But anyways, we're going to jump right into things here. If you guys are new to the channel, every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern, we are airing episodes. If you don't catch it on YouTube, you can catch it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And if you are catching it on YouTube, then make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about the episode. I'm always accepting feedback. I love to hear what I could be doing better, what I'm not doing good, what I should be doing, all that sort of thing. We're getting close to 500 subs. If we could get there soon, I would be grateful and very appreciative of that. And we will be doing a giveaway when we hit that milestone. We're going to jump right into things. So yeah, thanks everybody for tapping in. We'll catch you on the outro. Enjoy the STYKO episode. Hey, how's it
Hey,
going, man?
yeah, doing good, thank you.
Good.
How is everything? Are you ready for this?
Man, I'm super excited, man. I mean, we first talked back, I think it was last fall at some point of last year, and you were super busy and stuff like that. But you made that tweet about a month ago that you were looking to do podcasts and interviews and stuff, and someone tagged me in it, and I was on my way driving to the States, and I'm like, oh my God, and the stars aligned. So thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I'm happy to be here. I did a couple of them already, so we're kind of like lost in the place, but it's because we had to schedule it a little bit later in the month.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I'm ready. I think I went over stuff that you want to talk about, so everything's pretty clear and should be pretty good. I have like 1 hour. I did already like 4 or 5 hours of content right now, different
Okay.
one. So I'm a little bit fried, but 1 hour should be pretty good if that's okay, if we can cap it there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if like I'm not trying to be a burden and put more work on your shoulders, if a better time comes at a later date, that's totally cool with me too.
No, it's fine. Let's do it now. I'm
All right.
ready for this.
All right, perfect, man. Well, again, thank you so much for, lending me your time, especially after a long day of work. Much appreciated. But
No worries.
I like to start the podcast off the same way every time because it's the most important question. What's the lore on how Counter-Strike came into your life? Did you get introduced by a friend? Did you just stumble upon it yourself? How did that all happen?
Yep. So it's a pretty boring story. I stumbled thanks to a friend on this beautiful title. In fact, I've had a PC as probably like one of the only children, at the street where I lived. And there was a good friend of mine who was older, but he didn't have PC, so he came over and we just played some games. It was back in the day. I was like probably like 9, 10 years old.
Okay.
So that was like 2005, 6-ish. So very early days. We didn't play CS from the get-go. I usually liked to play like RTS games, strategic games, StarCraft and all that kind of stuff. Um, and once we realized that we can actually hook up the computer to an internet and play online,
Game
so that's
changer.
when that's when we found out that we actually can play against other people as well, not only against computer. And CS was one of the games which was popular back then, especially in our like city. Like there were friends of similar age playing this constantly, so we got our hands on it as well, and it was pretty easy to run. You didn't need like a super great computer to have it okay, to have okay experience. Then we tried it, and while I didn't like shooters that much, especially multiplayer ones, I was kind of good at it, so that made it fun for me, which is kind of weird to say, but it's not like, when I'm in the free time, I'm not gonna go and play Call of Duty or anything like that. Like that's not just a game that I personally enjoy, but what I enjoyed is that I was really, really good at it, and as well the tactical, strategic part, like kind of like reading the enemy, so to speak. It was very basic back in the day, but that was the fun part, and that's what made it fun for me, and that's why I stuck with it.
That's awesome. And like I always love looking at the beginning of Counter-Strike and then you see what we have now, especially with like the
Mm.
smokes being changed with CS2. Like the game's evolution time and time again has just been so cool, and the strategic, like the skill ceiling is just constantly raising. Like you can't hit the ceiling ever.
No, you can't. And when you think there's a ceiling, there's going to be something happening that you realize that you were completely overlooking for years, and now you have to either relearn it or learn it in a different way or copy it from others and like try to perfect something new in the game. So that's what happens when you play Counter-Strike for the first time. You want to shoot, right? You want to like play and outplay people by headshotting them. But then you realize you cannot do that all the time. So you realize, oh, there are nades in this game. Let me find out how to use nades. And then once you use nades, then you realize that, okay, if nades are not helping and the guns are not helping, I might as well play on different timings to kind of like force the rotation. And then you go in depth, in depth, in depth, and we go like more in depth for what 25 years already in
Yeah.
Counter Strike, and there are still things that are meta changing, and they are happening every single season. It might be a little bit like hard to see for a casual viewer, but they happen. And yeah, we're basically blessed with constant updates. It's not a big one, but they are still. The game is being updated. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not like a constant game that we play over and over again. So you
Yeah.
have always something new to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I really was interested in hearing from you today is like, how did you build up? Like, you start out when you're young and you're playing and playing and playing. How did you end up building up the talent and the skill to one day land yourself to be a professional player? Did like this? Surely this comes with a lot of hurdles and challenges along the way, right? It's not just an escalator up. There's a lot of steps involved.
Yeah, there are steps, but honestly, those steps for me were pretty straightforward. Like I was improving steadily. It was not like I had too many setbacks in my career or in my gaming life. The worst part is when you ask me this question is that I don't have the answer to it specifically because it was not like I want to be a pro gamer. I want to be a pro player in Counter Strike. Nothing like that was even remotely close to happen back in the days where I actually became a pro player, you know? So it all happened randomly. I didn't want it to happen. It just kind of happened. I got an offer because I was ready to commit to a university. I was ready to move out of my city to go to study to a capital city, and all of a sudden the offer came, and that's when I realized that okay, I might actually give it a shot while juggling school, but it wasn't ever like asking 15 years old STYKO that what do you want to be when you grow up, and I would never tell you pro gamer because there were literally no pro gamers in Slovakia. To like, I didn't know that job is actually
Like that's a thing.
existing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's completely different nowadays when you ask younger player because they play for the vision to become a pro gamer one day. They join academy teams. They have all the resources that we didn't have when we were younger. That whole thing speeds up their process of improvement. So it's very different. And if a younger viewer or listener is listening to this conversation, it might be hard for them to grasp how lucky it is to become a professional gamer when you are beginning your career in like 2012 and 13, which I did when CS:GO came out.
Yeah, and like another thing too is like even just games getting broadcasted on like Twitch or YouTube or whatever. You don't know who's watching those games. There could be someone from an organization looking for the next best thing and bringing you onto their roster. Like it's compared to back then, and like I'm not speaking from experience. I'm only 26. I started playing when I was 15. But when you think of it, back then and now, the scene has developed like so much, and there's a lot more to it. And I feel like to go and get yourself recognized, it's not as hard these days as maybe it was back then. I feel like back then you had a lot more to prove and you had to work 10 times harder. Not to say that you don't now, but it was just a different time, it seemed like to me.
Exactly. Right now, everyone is just much more reachable. Like you can put one tweet out that gets to the right circle through some viral algorithm thingy, and next thing you know that you're joining like a Faceit hub of people, and from that Faceit hub there are like two scouts who are picking up like top 10 players each month, checking them out, checking their demos, their stats. Everything is kind of automated. So it's little things like that that right now, if you're really good, you're going to get noticed almost immediately. Like it's going to be very hard to fly under the radar if you put up above average performance for your age, for your elo, for your positions, whatever it is. Meanwhile, back in the day, when I was beginning to be a younger player, or when I was becoming a pro player, maybe I could have been pro player like 1 or 2 years earlier because I was dominating the local scene, but no one really knew about me, right? Because there was no FPL, and face it, was very bare bones. No one was looking there to pick up talents. You either get picked up by an international team. Even back then, like international teams were not a thing. That
Yeah.
it was extremely rare. So all I could do was to play for the best local teams. And while we were good and smashing everyone, we were not that good to break through on international level. So it maybe hindered my whole progress by a year or two, which, I would never know. I would never know if that had an impact, but you can look at it both ways.
Yeah, for sure. This episode of Halftime with K Bizzy is brought to you in part by Pricempire.com. Pricempire.com is absolutely loaded with essential tools for any skin enthusiast. Whether it be their blog, their price comparison app, the trending deals, or your personal inventory tracker, I mean, Price Empire really has it all. Pricempire.com is trusted by more than 1 million users on Trustpilot to ensure everybody that it is a fair and legit website. Pricempire.com is linked in the description. Go step your skins game up today. And throughout your career, I mean, you've played for many teams. We're talking Hellraisers. You were on loan to Cloud9 at one point. Mousesports, Godsend, Apeks. Like, you have a pretty impressive resume. Sorry. And I wanted to ask you about the whole experience with being a pro player and dealing with, sticking with the team and switching to new teams and figuring out how your new team works in comparison to your old team, and just the whole kind of transitional period surrounding, being a pro player and maybe getting transferred around and stuff like that. What is it kind of like dealing with some of these events? Is it really difficult and stressful at first, or do you kind of get put into, a camp and then you quickly kind of learn how the gears turn with your new teammates? Like, how does that all kind of work?
So, yeah, I can s- safely say that the thing is very hectic and very stressful because there's a lot of players who were on the team, they secured the contract, and after a season or a year, let's say, they disappear and never come back, even though they want to, but they didn't just put like too big of a mark to get noticed in the future, right? Meanwhile, for me, it was a little bit different. So all the teams I think that I've played for, I never left the team. I was always put out of the team either because my contract was ending or I got benched, and that was it. I was never like, fuck this, I'm not gonna do anything with this team. I want to leave, just get me out. I was always the guy who was trying to find solutions.
Okay.
And if that solution was nowhere to be found, okay, we tried everything, then sure, let's disband the roster, let's move the pieces around. I'm going to take a break, I'm going to move to a different roster. But there was something always in me that always sparked interest in other teams. So whenever I was leaving a team or being benched, I was always approached by a really, really good team of similar level or better level that wanted me on the roster, despite me not being like a star player. I was always like a player, supportive element of the team, but it felt nice that good teams were recognizing me for my qualities. And I think whenever I switched the team, we did something remarkable in the scene because with Hellraisers, they decided to go international. We made it to the major. With mousesports, they decided to go international, and we dominated. We were number 2 in the world. We were in 8 months. We were winning a lot of tournaments. We were making playoff of every single event. We were very strong back in the days. Then I went to Cloud9 just for like 2-3 months, and then I had to build from the ground up in Godsend, and we made it actually to the major during COVID. It got cancelled, but we got our stickers in. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And then I had to build from the ground up again in Apeks, and we made it to the semifinal of the major, last CS:GO major, and then we made it to the first CS2 major. So I did it like 4 times, and to me, that is showing me my own impact on every team that I join, right? Because it can't
It's not a
happen.
coincidence.
It's not a coincidence anymore, right?
Mm.
Like whatever I'm doing, maybe I'm not making these teams the best in the world. Like I'm not like donk like difference maker, but I'm big of a
Impact.
difference maker enough to make teams break through with my maybe attitude, maybe approach, maybe the way I think, maybe the way I act. Whatever I'm doing it right. And I have multiple proofs in my resume that I know it works. And that's kind of nice to leave this legacy.
Yeah, for sure. And like is I like how you said that too. Like it's not a coincidence. Like history is repeating itself, and that kind of just shows that you're doing something right, I think. And whatever the next steps are for your career, I think that there's an organization out there waiting for a guy like you to come and bring that kind of energy to them.
I hope so. I mean, again, like right now, a lot of people are banking on younger players, so that is against me. A lot of teams are banking on star player positions, which is going against me. And then another thing is that they do look at statistics, which also go against me. But I know my untangibles or intangibles, whatever the word is. I um, I know what I'm capable of, and I still believe in myself more than anyone else. So I do believe that I can make change in a lot of good teams, and people would underestimate probably my impact, but I'm already used to that throughout my career. So if I have a challenge in front of me that I feel like it's worth taking, I will do it all the time because I know that it will every single like challenge like that improved me as a person, as a player. So I want to welcome those as much as I can in my life. I learned that throughout my whole gaming career, so I want to keep doing that, even if I, give up on esports at some point. But that's where I see the progress in myself.
Right on. Awesome. And one thing I always think is very interesting to think about the life of a professional player, period, but in this case, Counter Strike player. One thing I admire about you and other pros is just the fact that you guys travel like so much all year round and go to all of these different events and stuff like that. And when you think about jet lag, time difference, messing up your internal clock, not really being at home, boot camps, like there's so much involved. And I'm sure a lot of people know about it, but when I was first getting into watching professional Counter Strike in like 2015, 2016, I was like, you're just playing a game, but it's like not at all what it is. And, with everything that you guys have to do, I think it's just really amazing. And I wanted to know for you personally, was this something that you had to learn to work with over a period of time, or did you kind of adapt to things pretty quickly since, you've been around on many teams for quite some time now?
So that's a good question because I'm kind of like introverted guy, and I need my alone time and
Yeah,
my own space to decompress and process all the emotions throughout, sometimes even throughout the day that like load up on me. And sometimes it happens like throughout the week that it's been tough week, and I really need like 5 hours to decompress just completely alone. Like I
alone
can be,
time.
it can
Yeah.
be in the empty room is all I need. Just I need to be alone and process everything that happened. And that was sometimes tough to do, especially pre-COVID times, where it's not like it's not like we were having like a solo rooms, where you're just by yourself and all your teammates have their own space. And we were always either with a teammate in the room, then practicing at the tournament computers, just traveling together from tournament to tournament, and everything was kind of like messy. So I had to learn how to find a way to relax in some other way, because my way, what worked for me whole my life, wasn't possible anymore. And yeah, I found a couple of ways how to do that. I generally, whenever I traveled, even if I traveling with like five group of friends, like five friends, five teammates, I always put like a headset on and I don't talk to anyone throughout like flights or like an airport time. That's for me. Like there's way too many stimuli around me that I need to just zone out completely. And I don't care if you're my best friend or
It's
a
not like a
completely,
personal thing.
yeah, exactly. So I had to learn my way through, but what really helped me was the mindset that everyone really is going through that. So
Yeah.
yeah, sure, we don't see our family. We travel a lot. We have back-to-back tournaments. We don't practice much. As much as we would like to. But you know what? Every team in this tournament that we're about to participate in, they're in the same position. They haven't practiced as well that much. They didn't see family for a long time. So this helps you equal things out because yes, you're in a bad position, but probably not as bad as others. Like it's very rare that you are taking it worse than everyone else, you know? Just if you're just taking it on average, it's going to switch your mind a little bit and that helped me throughout my career. So I think a lot of my teammates had the same mindset about it.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, after a while, I mean, naturally, I guess you will kind of adapt to that kind of lifestyle of being always on the road and, traveling here and traveling there and being with, the staff and your teammates and the coach and all of that. Like, you kind of just have to adapt to that at some point, I would have to guess.
Yeah, exactly. It happens for some players very soon. It can take like 2, 3 events. For some players, it can take a year, but it will happen. Like in this kind of scenario, like you're traveling to the biggest tournaments in the world. There's a good hospitality. It's good hotels. It's good catering. It's good food. Like not much can go wrong, right?
They take care of you.
Plus you have a yeah, plus you have a manager, you have a coach, like you have a group of friends around that even if something bad happens, something backfires, so like a flight is canceled, it's not like you're alone, stuck in the middle of nowhere without anyone to talk to or anything like that, right? You're all stuck in a shit situation, so you might as well just make the best use out of it. So you do like some team like activities like talks or you go for food together, stuff like that. Like it all makes things much more bearable. You just learn to do it. And yeah, as I said, it takes a couple of events for the most part.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing that interests me is the whole mental part of this career. Like, obviously, losing is never the goal when you're going into a game or a series or whatever the case may be. But I think about teams like Liquid right now. I don't know what's happening. I feel so bad. I'm an NA guy, and seeing Liquid they're just crumbling. It breaks my heart. And my good buddy, he's a very very diehard Liquid fan, and like the mental hoops that they must be jumping through, I couldn't even imagine. So I always think about that side of things as well. And, I mean, professional or not, everybody in Counter Strike has experienced, you know, going into a game and maybe you have, if you're playing matchmaking, you have shit teammates or whatever, and they're throwing or they're just being toxic or they're not listening to strats and you're playing a game of Face It and it's like, why are you even queuing Face It? You know what I mean? It's easy to tilt and get kind of in a bad headspace and get in a bad mental zone. And that could kind of change, where the direction of the game is headed if it's a good outcome or a bad outcome. So I wanted to know, coming from a pro player like yourself, what are some of the mental obstacles that kind of get in the way of succeeding from time to time? And how do you kind of get out of that headspace and keep your eye on the prize?
So there's a lot of mental models that you can kind of like use to become better in CS. Like people underestimate that, and usually only when you become actual pro player you start noticing those patterns because you talk about it more with the teammates. You probably have a psychologist, and he usually teaches you a lot of things. Like all you have to do is kind of be open minded and give it a try, and don't think that it's like a voodoo kind of thing that he's going to like hypnotize you or anything. But no, that it's genuinely helping to a lot of players, most of the players, all of the players, if they give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
I have not found a person yet um, that didn't benefit from talks with psychologists, unless it was a person who already kind of ditched that idea that I don't need to open up to a psychologist. So that's one thing. Um, Another thing is that the biggest obstacle I want to say is, and I see this far too often, is that people hate difficult conversation to the point where they just avoid it at all costs.
Yeah.
Like they are not honest with each other, especially in the team environment. People are not honest with each other. People are um just kind of like saying what the other person wants to hear instead of tackling the problem head on. People are scared that the other guy will attack them back, that he will not take it well, he will ignore them, it will blow up the whole team. And yeah, sometimes that happens. But if that happens, if someone cannot take constructive criticism, get out of the CS. Like you have no business being here. So I see far men Like I see too many teams blow up just thanks to not being able to talk to the teammate. So I hate that you're doing this, and I think you should stop doing it. It's tilting me. And the other guy is just he would say, okay, I didn't know that it's tilting you. I'm not going to do that anymore, right? Very simple conversation. It's rarely turning into this simple conversation, but it's you get the point what
Yeah.
it means. And you brought a liquid point before. I can tell you that something's going on in the team. Like I feel like this iteration of liquid, like it's not going to go anywhere ever. It, if there are no roster changes, and I mean multiple. I've been in a similar position. Like it's so hard for me to judge these things when I have just a demo to review and see their body language on the server and maybe in the like social media posts. But there could be, and I'm going to just assume things. So this is not how it's happening, but it could be this way that, for example, Naf wasn't sure if he's going to be on the roster. Maybe he didn't want to be, but they couldn't find a replacement. Maybe Nerds is, because of that, a little bit demotivated because he knows that the changes are coming. Therefore, he's not putting as much time into the game and maybe preparation. Maybe the comms are dropping. Maybe he's not putting too much effort into communication. Then Liquid IGL with okay, let's go from Twist. So Twist is then a little bit like angry at Nerds because he's not putting too much time and he wants him to put much more time. He wants to believe in the project, etc., etc. Then Suhi is coming in as an IGL, trying to kind of hold things together. I think he's the most positive one, looking at the posts on social media. So he's trying to keep things together, but it's falling apart. Everything. Then new coach is coming into the play, so you have two new systems that you have to kind of like operate within. And if players don't believe in that, how the hell are they going to perform doing that on the server, right? And all these things I might have maybe hit maybe one of these five that I just said, but it is so important that players talk about this. And for an organization like Liquid, where they have like staff, they have people behind the scenes that can facilitate these talks, I don't know what is happening because I would understand that this would happen to like a tier 2 team, but to a tier 1 team, it's kind of different. To me, it kind of feels as well, you know what? When the VP roster, the Polish one, the legendary one, was sticking together for like 2 years when they had literally no results, losing to everyone. Like to me, that screams like, okay, let's make a roster change. But right now, I have that feeling in Liquid. So I mean, that's a little bit of a yap about the mental side of things, but I don't know. There's a lot of things that you can learn from these situations that keep occurring over and over again. And sometimes the roster move is only way out.
Yeah, for sure. I just think the whole mental aspect of, pro play and just working with staff and stuff like that. I think it's just super interesting because when I remember the first time someone told me that there was mental coaches and psychologists and stuff that work with teams, I was like, "What?" I'm like, I didn't know it got that deep. But the more I learned a little bit about it, it's just so fascinating to me that, there's that much support within organizations. It's really cool.
I mean, they put a lot of emphasis on that, especially after the Australis triple major run. Like they jumped ahead of pretty much everyone by a tier. Like they were stomping everyone, and that's when we realized that this is not no longer about in-game performance. This is also about being professional outside of the game. People started working out. They kept routines. They had a strict regime when it comes to diet and sleeping hygiene. So all these things impacted the whole esports scene. And esports psychologist, which back in the day was Mia Stolberg, she worked with me as well in Apeks. Um, she was trying to figure out how to motivate these guys who already won a major to keep winning more. They won a second one, how to keep winning more. They won a third one, and then they won a fourth one, which third one in a row, basically. So she did all that work with them, and it was very impressive. And to me, it's very hard to do that if you don't have like intrinsic motivation. And she found that intrinsic motivation in all of those players, because surely after two majors, winning everything, you're going to say we're going to start slacking. But she
Yeah.
made them not to slack.
Yeah, it's impressive stuff, man. It's impressive. But for the next question, I wanted to kind of switch to a more personal topic, back to yourself and your career specifically. Back in October of 2023, Apex announced that they came to the decision to move you to the bench, which of course is probably the worst news that a pro player could get. um, how do you deal with something so critical like this? I guess maybe this kind of teeters off of the last question of the whole mental part of it as well. But do you know at times, like, are you just kind of hit with a random boom one day? You're just like, I'm benched all of a sudden. Do you know this beforehand, or are you just kind of like when you are benched? Are you kind of praying that another organization is looking at you, or is there just a lot of questions as the player in that situation?
Yeah, so there's a lot of question marks and a lot of uncertainty that is causing all this stress. Like you don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to bring you back to the roster? Are you going to sell you? Are you even start having like this self doubt that are you even good enough? Obviously, this whole bench was a shock to me. I didn't know it beforehand. I was basically like coming to a practice day in the morning, and instead of like meeting with all the players, it was just I think me and the coach who had to share the news. And it was
Ah,
also like he was coach just for a brief period of time, like two events. It was Meter instead of Kuban, and yeah, we've had pretty lackluster summer after the Paris major run. So I understood that decision had to be made, but I didn't think it was a good decision. I think there was a I think removing me or benching me didn't fix any of the problems, if I'm being honest. So there's that. But yeah, my immediate reaction to that was that okay, this fucking sucks. I feel hurt. I don't think it was deserved, but I want to prove them wrong, and at the same time, I don't want to waste any time. So I immediately kind of like filled my whole schedule because when you're a pro player, you play for like 10 hours a day. Like you have almost no free time. But as soon as you're benched, you have so much free time that it starts playing mind tricks with you. Like I have no clue what the hell am I supposed to do when I'm benched.
mm-hmm.
So I immediately locked myself into the room and created a plan how to keep myself occupied. And I found a way through content, right?
Yep.
I started creating much more content. I started streaming. I started doing YouTube videos where honestly like I didn't even care about what I'm making as long as I liked it. You know, I didn't
For
care
sure.
that it's going to get like 500 views. Like it's super niche topic, but I wanted to make it. It was nowhere to be seen on YouTube. I'll just make a video as best as I can and see how it goes. So I was doing less stuff like this, and it made me realize that like I know a lot of good things about CS. Like I know how to teach things, and I gained a lot of fans during that period when I was benched because, especially through my content side, because they realized, okay, I can teach a thing or two from this STYKO guy. So uh, since then, I kind of take content creation as important part of my persona.
And I mean, it's the next best thing you can do. You've already built yourself up to being in tier one, and people know your name, they know your face. And what's the next best thing to do other than make content around the game you're professional at? I mean, it's a no brainer to me, and it's the right way to go about it for sure.
It's the thing that not everyone is fit for it. Like
That's true.
someone is really good at the game, but they don't know why they are good. Like it's kind of intuition that plays a big part. But I'm never like that. I was never like the talented guy. I was always like hardworking guy, and I had to like kind of realize what to do and then practice it repeatedly to perfect it and then put it to test on the actual server against enemies, right? So I was very methodical. And thanks to that like workload that I was putting myself into, I understood how to teach things, how to strip things, complicated things, into bare bones fundamentals, and how to present them to the people who are less skilled or lower ranked than me or might not understand the topic as deeply as I do. So it helped me deconstruct all the things that I learned, and then I put it into videos. And yes, those videos, when I look back at them, they're scratching the surface of the topic. I could have gone deeper, but at the same time, you know, casual viewers, they don't need me to go deep on these topics. Like for
Yeah.
that, I can get like a personal coaching, or they will find a way on stream. They can ask me a question. I will go gladly deep, but not for the YouTube video, which I'm trying to target a wider audience. So these are the reasons. And yeah, some players are playing intuitively. Like when you ask them, why did you play this clutch this way? Because they've won like a sick 1v3 clutch. They're going to say, I don't know. I don't know. I just felt like it, you know?
Yeah.
And to me, that is a good enough answer. Like it's okay if you don't know. But if I need to go like share my thought processes, what's going in my head, I want to put them in very concise and simple sentences. So person that is probably like level 7, level 8 can comprehend it and take it something from it, you know? If
Yeah.
he ever is in that kind of situation, he can think, okay, STYKO did this last time. Let me try it as well. Maybe he will succeed, maybe not. But that's a trial and error. That in CS there's no play is perfect. So there's a stuff to hold this content creation that I kind of built myself, my mindset throughout the whole career for it, and I didn't even know about it. So
Hey, there you go. Blessing in disguise.
that's kind of like, yeah, I would label it like that as well.
For sure. And as for some of your achievements on a brighter note, you have a few trophies followed by an EVP under your belt from V4 Future Sports Festival in 2018. You have nearly 1,000 professional matches played. You've been on 16 teams. I mean, to me, this is incredibly impressive. When you look back at your career thus far, I'm not sure if you ever look, take a look into the past or anything like that. But if you do have time and you do end up looking at the past, what would you say have been some of your favorite moments so far in your entire career overall, if you could pick any?
Yeah, I don't look too much into the past. I think it's creating like a bad habit that you just admire your past self too much. Um, but I mean, there are memories, obviously. I I cannot pick the perfect one. I mean, the Paris Major is probably the biggest achievement. Semifinals, losing that semifinal against Vitality, putting a good show, having an okay match, and putting a show, really. That was spectacular, and I'm glad they won the final, so we can say that we lost to a winner. And then there was this brief period in time where we were very, very strong in mousesports, and we won V4 Future Festival and then Star Leather in Kiev. I don't remember much from it, honestly. Like, it happened like 8 7 8 years ago. It's not that far, like, but I cannot, like, it all blends together,
Yeah.
that whole period in mouse sports, because we are traveling from tournament to tournament. It all is kind of a one big blur that I'm not sure. I would love to relive it more, you know, in my memory, but I can't. It's tough. I don't know. Maybe I did something wrong during that. I didn't live in the present moment too much to make to create like a deep memory of it. Maybe I took it for granted. You were like, we won the tournament, whatever. We will next win the next one. But maybe I don't know. I just don't have too big of a memory from this part. So, but these things probably will stick with me for the most part. Paris Major and the Mouse Sports run.
For sure. And the Paris Major, especially, I mean, the end of the CSGO era, moving into CS2, and, playing Vitality, working your way to play Vitality. I mean, holy shit. They're still a force to be reckoned with, and we all know that.
Yeah, I mean, they deserve to win that major. They were by far the best team. I think we hit a like really interesting streak of teams that were super beatable for us. It's not, I don't feel like we overperformed, which is crazy thing to say. I think like all of the other teams kind of underperformed. Like there were a lot of big teams missing from the top 8. If you remember, there was like Into the Breach, Monte, Apeks, Gamer Legion. Like
Yeah,
all
that's
these
true.
teams were in the top 8, and these are the teams that shouldn't be making top 8, all in the same tournament. So it felt like a CCT major, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, we beat who we had to beat. We had a really good draw in the quarterfinal, Liquid. I'm glad that we stomped them on the stage as well. It was really nice weekend, I would say. Very successful, despite losing to best team in the world.
Yeah. And I feel like, touching on your point there of how so many, underdogs ended up making it into the major. I don't know. My theory is like CSGO was coming to an end and everybody knew it. So maybe that sparked something in teams and in players, and they're like, you know what, this is the last time we're gonna do this in CS:GO. Let's fucking go out with a bang. I don't know. That's what I think.
I honestly don't know because I feel like CS2 was like we didn't know it's the last CS:GO major. I'm not sure. I think it was the
Maybe I'm
major
having a lapse
happened,
of
and
judgment.
then CS2 was announced during the summer. So later that, and then we realized, okay, so
Oh, that's
Paris was
right.
the last CS:GO major. I'm not sure about that because the maybe it was already announced beforehand because obviously the huge sticker thing. Like
Yeah.
people were buying up stickers. Maybe it was announced as last CS:GO major.
I
I
feel
don't know. I don't
I'm gonna
remember
go with your
exactly.
answer. I think you might be right. I might be getting screwed up over here.
I don't know. There has to be a reason why the stickers were so popular in Paris. So I think people were just investing into them because it's last CS:GO major. So they obviously had to know beforehand. But I also know that CS2 was introduced during the ESL Pro League, which was played during the summer. And then when I was benched, we already spoke about that period. I was benched. Those were the moments where everyone started playing officials in CS2. So the switch happened as I got benched. I played last tournament in CS:GO, and boom, CS2 came out. Like
Okay.
actually came out like people started playing that competitively instead of CS:GO. So I'm not sure if it was announced beforehand.
Well, anyone listening to this, put it in the comments below and prove me wrong because I think I'm pretty sure you were right. But
See.
anyways, going forward, I want to know what's next for STYKO. Do you have any goals or plans for the future, or are you kind of just coasting and enjoying your time off right now while you're hoping to get some more offers in? I know you just got benched not too long ago. How do you approach the future? Do you have anything that you're looking to do specifically?
Specifically, no. I'm kind of like casting the net and seeing what will stick because I have a lot of, thanks to my career and my decisions with content creation and everything like that, a lot of doors are open for me, which I like because I don't have to like basically there's like a lot of different avenues that I can take and still make a living thanks to this. There's also opportunity for me to just retire and do something else with my life. It's a privilege, you can say, being 29 years old, and you can kind of switch career at 29, which a lot of like majority of people are stuck with one same career throughout their whole life.
Yeah.
So it's a privilege to me to say that I'm in a position to do that because I actually run two businesses, not esports related, for like almost 3-4 years. Um, Another thing is obviously thanks to content creation, I can just fully focus on that if I want to. I'm not sure I'm the right fit. I'm not this kind of like energetic guy that loves to rage on camera, which everyone loves to, everyone loves to see that on Twitch and YouTube. I'm more of a calm, down to the earth person. Another thing would be obviously a talent work, which thanks to content creation, I got recognized for my work on camera, for the way I talk, for the way I explain things. Um, Another thing would be obviously to keep playing. I would love to try IGLing, and I think I have. I learned like I grew as an IGL in the past 6 months in Inner Circle, despite not hitting like any crazy um, like win streak or anything like that. But I think that role is suiting me more and more, despite me not being like true captain of people outside of the server. I'm learning to do that, but I'm, in my opinion, pretty good IGL on the server. So all these avenues are opportunities, and whatever will happen, obviously, I would prioritize playing because that will 100% satisfy my hunger for competition. But I can find this hunger for competition in every single thing that I mentioned before. In content creation, you just want to be better and better. You start strive for improvements. In analyst work or like a talent work, same thing. You don't want to be a burden. You don't want to be like a guy that hinders the whole production, right, of
Yeah.
the event. And then if I just retire and go for business, that's the same thing. Business is competition. You want to be better than your competitors. So in all of these things, I can satisfy what I need, and that need to me is be better than others. That's I guess my drug that is always fueling me forward, because I don't know how to do anything else. I don't know how to not compete. I've been doing that for past 10 years. It made me fortune. It made my living. everything was revolving around that. So I think until I die, I will probably be in. I will be chasing that. How to satisfy that hunger of competition.
Hey man, it always pays off. You know, the way I look at it is no matter what it is, if it's especially content, if you're not going to be the one to do it, someone's going to do it, and they could be the one to get the video to get, you know, 1 million+ views, and you're like, fuck, I had that idea, but you know, I was doing something else instead. So to have that competition, the hunger for competition is never a bad thing as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly, and it's a good thing to have, but it's also extremely tiring to thing to have.
Yes.
Like you can never rest. Every time you're resting, it feels like you're moving backwards and others are passing you by. It's very stressful, but I think I'm gonna be at the point where, like, maybe in 5 years, maybe in 10 years, where I say I've done my I've done my part. I just want to enjoy life from now on because if I'm being honest, I'm almost 30 years old. I didn't get to enjoy much of the life. It was always constant stress, and it's taken toll on a lot of things in my life. Um, I would love to know how it is to live a stress-free life, but as long as I'm playing this game for a living, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. No, it's understandable, man. I mean, it's always go, 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 and Valve changing maps and changing metas and stuff like that, and economy. I mean, it's just a never ending cycle so long as you're in the game for sure.
Yep.
So, if there's any type of advice that you could give to someone that's maybe listening to this that aspires to be in the tier one scene or achieve some of the things that you've achieved in your professional career, what kind of advice could you give them, if anything at all?
All right, you have to find a way how to like make yourself visible to kind of like stick out from be the odd one. I don't know how to really explain it, but if you're just going to do things that everyone else does, it's going to be hard to get noticed. So obviously, obviously, if you're extremely talented in game, that's going to show up on the statistics, and you're going to probably break through. But if you're just average when it comes to statistics, you need to find your quality. What are you absolute best at compared to your peers or players around your level, and go 100% bank on that. Like, do you love to create like crazy calls and crazy strategies? That could be one thing, like how to organize these things. Do you love to be in a team environment and kind of solve these problems between teams, interpersonal things? That could be your thing. Like communicating well, all these kind of things. You have to make something that will make you like different, and in that way, I think your chances are going up tremendously to get noticed, to get picked up by at least do a tryout for like an academy team or something like that. It could help you really, really elevate or like speed up your process of becoming a pro player eventually. So if you're gonna just copy others, it's not gonna be the best thing. Obviously, you can get inspired, but think for yourself. Don't copy things. Create things.
I love it. I love it. Well, man, that was pretty much the last thing I had to ask for you. So, for the outro, I like to shine the spotlight over to the guests. So, if there's anything that you're working on that you want to promote, if there's any message you want to get out there to anybody listening, have at her. The floor is all yours.
So if you like the vibe of whole this thing and you saw me for the first time or you don't watch me that much, obviously, where you can see my face and hear me yap about my thoughts, it's going to be my YouTube channel and Twitch channel. So feel free to reach out to me there. Have a good time watching the video, watching the stream, whatever it is that I'm doing. I'm a very transparent guy, so I'd love to share it with my viewers and fans. So whenever you ask a question, I'll try to answer. And that's the whole premise of it. I think sharing is caring. So if I can make you a little bit better player, that's a win for me. And if it's through the video or a simple reply in a chat, man, I will do it. And thank you for having me on. I think, well, I had a good time. I think it was a really interesting and in-depth question. So I appreciate you getting me onto this.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's been almost a year, and we made it happen. I can't thank you enough for it, man.
Yeah, thank you as well. And yeah, what's else to say? Thank you and bye bye.
And that was everything, everybody. Thank you so much for tapping into today's episode. I got nothing but respect for STYKO. I liked him beforehand. I love him now. Talking to this guy and hearing him and his story and his stories about, just being in the industry and just being on so many other teams. I mean, it's super impressive to me. And I always will have the appreciation to the pros who, I don't want to say throw their life away, but they don't have a normal lifestyle and, they are just traveling and mentally going through it, being on some of these teams and stuff and being put in certain situations in game that, maybe when you leave, you carry that home with you. I don't know. But I have so much appreciation and respect for them, and especially STYKO as well. Make sure you guys go to his links in the description. And while you're down there, check mine out too if you don't mind. But definitely go and support STYKO. And wish him all the best with trying to get on another team. I hope another team picks him up soon. I think people could definitely benefit from having this individual, this absolute G on the team. Thank you everybody for watching. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. And we will catch you next Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Till next time, everybody.